This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
The numbers told the story, they always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is a numbers game with Gil Alexander on VSiN.
Good Monday morning to you. There's a numbers game at VSiN, the sports betting network, VSiN.com, Game Plus, iHeartRadio, YouTube TV, and of course, Sirius XM Channel 158. Gil Alexander, Calais Baidalan, alongside.
Hey,
on this second day of March. Man, I love March. March is...
What's your favorite part about March?
Thanks for asking. First of all, it's a cavalcade of your buddies coming into town.
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
Toddy Wishnev's going to make his appearance for about 8 days. Then my DC idiot friends are going to come in after that.
When's Toddy coming? This week?
No, 9th. But it's the sneaky, awesome month of just everything, even before March Madness.
Mm-hmm.
Tennis's 5th major, Indian Wells, with conference tournaments. It's just a fantastic month because once the Masters clears in early April, then it's just kind of, all right, baseball and golf and tennis majors the rest of the summer. Just a long haul till football kind of thing. Not that that's
NBA and
bad.
NHL.
Yeah, but right. But the NBA playoffs, we talked about this last year.
They go on forever.
It goes on forever. The interminable NBA playoffs.
If you don't think, as big of an NBA nut as I am, if you're out there listening, you don't think I think there are things that are obviously wrong with the league. Yeah, of course there are.
Maybe the first round doesn't have to be a best of 7, for instance.
Yes, that should definitely go back to a best of 5.
Maybe you don't have to spread out the games as far as you do, that kind of thing.
Well, and it's always, the NBA Finals is always the one that impacts it, because why do you need to set the dates
That's right.
7 months in advance?
That's right, they set it out there.
ABC can't adjust?
Anyway, the point being, March is awesome. And these next 2 days, very good. First of all, by the way, on the show today, we are not messing around. Joe Peta is going to join us here in the first hour. It is the third part of his 3-part series, and this is the money shot, if you will.
Okay.
We talked about the building blocks in part 1. He gave a case study on the Mets in part 2. This is Joe Peta's, you ready for this? 10. There's 30 teams. 10 favorite season win totals.
Damn.
Including his favoritist of them all. Not a word. His favorite of them all, but 10 completely. And then we'll do a speed round, and then he'll actually give a bet on the first game of the season. How about that? All of that coming up with Joe Peta. We'll also do College Basketball Formula 3.0. And I do think there is a headline to College Basketball Formula 3.0, which is, it's kind of clear now to me. It wasn't really clear in 1.0 and 2.0, but it's kind of clear now, I think. Wes Reynolds will join us. Adam Burke will join us. So we got a lot to get to. We don't usually start the week talking about a schedule thing, but today and tomorrow for tennis and baseball hardos is kind of big. I mentioned Indian Wells, the BNP Paribas Open, if you want to do it by sponsor. But Indian Wells, tennis's de facto 5th major, which is in Palm Springs, which I'm very bougie, so I'm going on Friday with Deborah Song Fashion Stylist. It's our annual trek over there.
Yeah,
bougie.
Go every year.
But the draw is today at 3 p.m. The tournament starts on Wednesday. So Drew Dinsick, Zach Cohen, and I have a very small window to get out a podcast. We will get that window done at 6 p.m. Pacific today. So we'll do the Indian Wells podcast 6 p.m. Pacific today.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Then we will turn around tomorrow morning after this show, which I heard Jensen and Dave talking about prior to our coming on the air on By the Books. Jensen Lewis, Dave Ross, Captain America, talking about our MLB draft tomorrow. Our first annual VSiN MLB Futures Draft, which I am told I have the 4th pick in out of 10.
How do you feel about that?
That's a great question. I don't know what I would have wanted. I don't know if I'd have wanted more of the snake at 9-10. Here's the order, by the way. Steve Phillips, former Mets GM, gets the first pick in the draft.
Oh, yeah. Completely random there, Gil. Completely random.
Well, let me just say this. If Adam Burke
Our boss has no connection to the man at all,
If Adam Burke had gotten it, then the fix was really in. Thank God he got 2.
I have no idea who made the order.
That's former Major League Baseball pitcher Lance Lynn, who I've bet on many times. I should try to rattle him before he makes his pick. I bet on you many times. It didn't work out very well, Lance. What is your pick? And then it's me, Howard Bender, Matt Brown, Charger permitting, Matt Humans, Jeff Erickson, Mark Borchard, Jensen Lewis. Jensen gets the 10th. He gets the true snake. Base winner 9. He's the guy to watch out for, that guy.
Yes, he is. I told Jensen before the show, the ultimate flex would be last pick, make a bet on himself somehow, like Jensen Lewis to, I don't know, record over a half a save or something. You don't know. We've seen Phillip Rivers come back. He could make a comeback during the season. It's possible.
Oh, I actually put his weight on this
exactly,
on the scale here. So this is, again, it's division winner, 10 categories. Division winner, AL or NL pennant, AL or NL manager of the year, World Series winner, win total over, win total under, AL MVP, NL MVP, AL Cy Young, NL Cy Young, AL or NL Rookie of the Year. Is that 10? No, that's 11, I believe. Okay, 11 categories. I lied. And that's it tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, right after we're on the air, Kelly, live on air. We will do that draft. I love this way more than the NFL one. This, to me, is more heady. The NFL one, I ended up with a lot of Bengals. I didn't really plan on that happening, and so you know how that went.
Yeah. Well, Rob and I were breaking it down actually before the show. It was very clear that like 2 or 3 people had some Bengals futures in mind, and then it became an arms race to get to them.
Well, I didn't have it in mind. I was just sort of it led that way. Pardon me, but this I have a definite strategy to this. I will not reveal here. I have a definite sort of North Star on this, but we'll see how it goes tomorrow. Shouldn't last. It shouldn't be very long. Should be pretty quick. 11.
How many categories?
11 categories, 10 picks.
Doing this in an hour?
Hour and change. I'm gonna guess.
Oh, it's open ended. It's not like
I don't know if it's open ended, but
okay. I guess I figured it was just in that hour.
Who was it? Humans in the middle of the what looked like it was going to be a 3-hour NFL draft. Somewhere like an hour in, Humans goes, maybe we want to cut down the commentary. In that Humans way.
Oh, man. He's still the odds-on favorite to be the guy to make that same comment in this draft.
Can I tell you something?
Let's maybe get this going a little faster.
He was 100% right. We got it in 2 hours and change. This one will be about half that, I would say. But this is good. These are great baseball minds in this one. So looking forward to an actual former GM, actual former players, fantasy guys. Oh, the fantasy guys. You got to watch out for those guys, too. The Jeff Ericksons and the Howard Benders of the world.
Yeah, these guys have been plugging stuff into spreadsheets for 2 months already.
Borchard is really doing stuff now. Anyway, look forward to that tomorrow. So it's Indian Wells tonight, 6 p.m., not to mention numbers game this morning, tomorrow morning, and then the MLB Futures Draft. So a very busy 24-hour stretch here, which, again, March, it's awesome.
I think we need a preview with Mark beforehand.
Get him on tomorrow.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
Try to
conversations Kelly should have off air with Gil. But I was thinking about this earlier.
What are you going to pick with your 9th pick?
I wouldn't really say that. Just maybe a baseball preview, and then
what do you think you'll come back with the 12th pick? Huh? Anything? Anyway, we'll find out. We'll do that. Okay. The other thing that people are again wrapped up in is our NBA brain dead parlays. Now, yesterday another one hit. This will not count to our numbers game record because it was on the weekend, but I answered some folks on Twitter as well on this, which is yesterday's was Cavs, Thunder, and Lakers, and that hit. It was about 45 cents on the dollar, but we're not going to count it towards a personal towards the numbers game record because it was on a weekend, but it's working out just fine. Now,
I threw 2 of those legs in with the Milwaukee Bucks. That was a choice.
Wow.
I didn't get home if you didn't see that.
It's on the end, yeah.
Bucks scored 8 points in the fourth quarter.
I saw that.
8 whole points in an NBA game.
So, again, just real quick, 8 tanking teams. Indiana and Washington fall under the somewhat trustworthy. Indiana has lost 10 of 12. One of those wins was against another tanker. Wizards have lost 18 of 24. 3 of those 6 were against other tankers. Those are the somewhat trustworthy, the Pacers and the Wizards. Next category is the trustworthy except when they play other tanking teams, which is Memphis, which has lost 13 of 17. But all 4 of those wins were against other tankers.
Wow.
Brooklyn
beat Indiana yesterday.
Yeah, Brooklyn has lost 26 of 31. 4 of those 5 losses were against other tankers. And then to me, the most tank trustworthy, but really, honestly, the categories are something we just put into tiers, and now I'm not so sure if they're precise anymore, but Bulls have lost 14 of 16. Sorry about that yesterday, Kelly.
The only problem with the Bulls is, we've talked about this, it's basically just a new team since the trade deadline, and there is some talent on there, but it's just they've clearly given you signal that they would prefer to lose these games.
That's right. Sacramento's lost 18 of 20, both of their wins against other tankers. Mavs have lost 13 of 15, both of their wins against other tankers. And the Jazz have lost 17 of 21. Half of their 4 wins have been against other tankers, but they have, in many ways, done the most tankable things along the way in this Tankapalooza 2026. So as far as do we have a play tonight, my answer is no for me, though you may get frisky and include when the lines come up for tomorrow, you may throw the Rockets in tonight at the Wizards if you want to get frisky with it tonight. But officially today, I will not have any teams included. Tomorrow is an epic tank day. Tomorrow's going to be at least a 4-team tanker.
Yeah, you got the Mavericks at the Hornets.
You got the Mavericks.
Wizards at the Magic. Nets at the Heat. Yeah, there's a lot of options.
Grizzlies at the T-Wolves. I mean, you got 4 at least tomorrow. So some people get frisky with the Rockets today, and then others will get frisky with the Nuggets tonight as well at the Jazz. I'm not going to.
I do think those are worth keeping in mind, though. We brought that up last week, especially on Mondays with this short slate we're going to have. Yeah. A lot of these openers will be out for Tuesday games before we get tip-off in that first Rockets-Wizards game. So something to just look ahead on.
It is an amazing window, though, into the sports bettor's mind, though, because for all the sharpness out there, right? Mm-hmm. As soon as you start doing these, it's such a great little vehicle to have in the background going, a passive brain-dead parlay, just sort of accumulate, a little bankroll builder in the background. People love that.
So what's funny is you say that, because then me as like an NBA guy, and I'm trying to consume as much like information as I can about these teams. Yeah. Cracks me up when I have one of these legs, right? No, like I brought this up last week, and I'm locked in on the Hornets playing whatever god-awful team, and then you're like, wait, why am I watching this when there's like a good game on? Like, they're 12-point favorites. They better win this.
That's right. Formula 409. No, Formula 3.0. College basketball on the other side. We'll get into it. I think it's clearing up. Have we narrowed it down to 5, to 7? We'll find out next on a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
What do you get when you combine a former MLB GM, 2 former players, fantasy experts, and sharp wagerers in one baseball draft? It's the 2026 VSiN MLB Futures Draft. Join us on Tuesday, March 3rd at 1 p.m. Eastern as our team of experts select their division, league, and World Series champions. Plus, they'll choose award winners for the upcoming season. It's the 2026 VSiN MLB Futures Draft. Tuesday, March 3rd at 1 p.m. Eastern on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN, a network of sports betting analysts, writers, hosts, and handicappers, all here to help you become a more confident bettor. We broadcast live every day from Las Vegas, the sports betting capital of the world, and from studios across the country, giving you insight from every angle of the action. Take VSiN with you wherever you go with the VSiN Watch app, or catch us on streaming platforms and regional sports networks. You can also listen live on SiriusXM Channel 158 and on radio stations nationwide. Check out VSiN.com as well for betting tools, exclusive betting splits, AI-powered player prop projections from Opta, pro picks for every game, plus in-depth betting guides and articles built to give you an edge. From sharp betting analysis and daily best bets to insider interviews and expert breakdowns, VSiN is your trusted source for everything happening in the world of sports betting. See everything we have to offer at VSiN.com and become part of the Sports Betting Network.
Coming up on the next edition of Follow the Money, conference tournaments are here. The little guys get underway. We'll break down some of championship week. Also a fun day in the NBA. We'll recap the weekend as well. Clippers-Warriors on Peacock. And Iowa State takes on Arizona in a top 5 matchup. Nick Whalen to talk NBA props as well. Follow the Money 4 to 7 Eastern on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, SiriusXM Channel 158. Check out the website for all the betting tools and analysis, or get the VSiN Watch app.
A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Get ready to win a larger-than-life World Soccer Championship experience only at Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas. One lucky winner scores a 2-night stay at Circa. VIP cabana for the games at Stadium Swim with $500 in credit plus $250 in food and beverage. You could take that down, Kelly. $250 in food and beverage? No problem.
Oh, no, you got to add this up. $500 for the cabana, which you can use on booze.
Yeah.
Then $250, so that's $750 in booze and food if you want it. I recommend mixing some in. And then you get the round of celebratory cocktails, so it's really more like $800 plus.
Your addition is impeccable. Arrive in style with limo transportation. Celebrate with cocktails at Legacy Club. Enter now. Kick off the World Soccer Championship at Circa Resort Casino. For giveaway details, visit circalasvegas.com. We get tweets. Beating the book. The Better Life, Tim Lawson.
Who?
He says USL Championship season starts this week. I'm looking forward to the in-depth preview. That's Tim's way of saying I'm available.
Which one's that league? Is that the women?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
Am I wrong about that?
I don't know. I'll look it up.
Trip Tepper. With mid-low major conference tourneys, how much weight do you assign to the familiarity of the teams as a tipping point to bet the underdogs? I'm a dog better by default, but these tourneys seem to birth more quirky results than Power 5. Trip, great question. Let's just talk real quick. This is when the college basketball conference tournaments begin. Actually, we have one that begins today. There's an in-play game in the Horizon League. So it actually conference tourneys officially start tonight with that one game. Then tomorrow, Patriot League and the Sun Belt start. On Wednesday, it's the Atlantic Sun, Big South, Northeast Ohio Valley, and Summit League. Thursday, it's the Metro Atlantic, Missouri Valley, West Coast Conference. And then Friday, it's the Coastal, never want to say Colonial again, right? The Coastal Athletic and the Southern Conference. Saturday, it's the America East and the Big Sky. Sunday, it's the Southland. Monday, it's the Southwest Conference. And then Tuesday next week, it's all the biggies, right? That's when that starts. Tuesday and Wednesday next week, where the Power 5 start. But anyway, to your question, Trip Tepper, I don't have a definitive answer for you, but I will tell you the guy that does the best conference basketball week historically, and that is our buddy Dr. Bob. We should really get Dr. Bob on here this week and next week. He destroys small conference basketball, so we'll get him on. Scott, New York Mets 16. Is the Indian Wells podcast live tonight? I believe it is. Wyatt Tomchek will have to confirm that for me. I believe it is live, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Tim Bowers, this is all in capital. Gil blank, he says, insert middle name Alexander. This is all capitals. I've been waiting all weekend to be fake mad at you for me binging Love is Blind this weekend. Then I got to the post-pod episodes and found them funny, so thank you, I guess, he says. Love is Blind. All resolves this week.
Real quick, not to interrupt the important stuff, because that is the important stuff. USL.
You damn right it is.
USL is the second tier, so this is below the MLS.
Oh, second tier men's.
Men's, yeah.
Oh,
we were confusing the NWSL.
NWSL, yeah. That's right. Cody bets football. Cody Holloway. Is there a scoring system in the futures draft at all? It's a great question. No, I don't think so. I think it's just done by units.
Yeah, I think what we've typically done in the past, although I don't exactly remember the football one, but other ones we've done on shows and everything, it's usually like a $100 bet.
Yeah.
And then, we just calculate units at the end.
Right. So somebody could go 1 for 10, but hit a 100-to-1 monster shot and still win it.
Yeah.
And the prize is you get to allot money for charity, right? I believe that's the prize.
No.
That is correct. That is the prize. I don't know how much, but that's
great.
the prize. Yeah.
And you know what? Gil? I'm going to include another crisp high five from Kelly Pidlin, too.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well.
So hopefully it's you, so I don't really have to travel.
We'll tell Steve Phillips and Lance Lynn if they win it. We'll be like, hey, you get a crisp high five from Kelly Pidlin. They'll be like, say what now?
They're going to be like, I'm glad I joined.
New York Mets 16, Scott adds, Gil, I did a 6-team brain-dead parlay yesterday. Now, you see, here's what starts, because Kelly and I were talking about this off-air. The beauty of these Tankapalooza parlays, which we did back in 2018 and revisiting again this year, is that we just try to stick to the script. Good for you, Scott. Oh, it didn't hit. Did it hit? Yes, it did hit, I believe. So every once in a while, you're going to get frisky, and it's going to work out for you, but then a lot of people want to go too far, and you're going to eventually lose. Now, you won't lose more than a unit, but still. Jason Stark.
Yeah, just know you're going off.
That's why we do the categories.
Yes, you're going off of what Gil is very, very simply laying out for you, the teams to attack and how to attack them.
Why did I do that like Regis? That's why we do the categories. Jason Stark, I did Boston. See, Jason Stark did it. Yesterday I did Boston, the Lakers, the Thunder, and threw in SGA 20-plus points to get it down to minus 130 after the Lowry debacle of the Bear Trap. Shame.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Going to have to talk about that at some point. Shane Lowry.
Shrek McPhee, really good to see the Texans helping Stroud by trading one of the two competent offensive linemen they have.
Oh, yeah, they did that again. I don't really know why teams, because didn't someone do this last year too? It's the Browns trading for a Houston Texans offensive line.
Okay. And then Brian Shaver wants to know, could you repeat your Love is Blind bets? Sure. I'll repeat them. They were all no's, by the way. All three of them were no's. I said no on, I can't remember the name. Devontae was a no to get married. Devontae's with Brittany. Little cute girl, Brittany. Ashley, who's with the lying dude, Alex. That was a no to get married. And then Mike, who's with Emma. I said no to get married. 85% on Mike, 90% on Devontae, 90% on Ashley. All right, college basketball. One more question here. Doug Tuttle, how you feeling about the MLB Futures draft spot, number 4? I was mentioning that earlier. I don't know what I would have preferred. If I want a snake at the end like Jensen has, or Borchard, base winner. You get what you get. I don't think there's an advantage. If you have the proper strategy, I don't think there's an advantage to where you are.
How long's the current list of picks? Have you started writing things down? Is it just in your head right now?
No. With Indian Wells, I had to collect data for Indian Wells, and I wanted to get my draft already in order. I know what my top picks will be.
Nice. Like, do you have a 1 and then a backup just in case that gets taken?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah. I have
because you never want to be that guy.
Like with the tankers, I have the tiers.
You can't be that guy, espally in the first round.
You're
like,
somebody
you
makes
took
your
my
pick,
pick.
and then you wait, and you're on the clock, and you're searching desperately.
No, you got to be ready to go.
Oh, no, I'm prepared.
Especially live on air.
I'm prepared. I'm ready to go. All right, college basketball formula 3.0. Let's do this. Again, no intro.
Hey, Rob Moreno's back from his 7-week journey around the world. He's going to be working on that.
Oh, okay. Oh, this is a nice little
got graphics.
Hey. Ooh, look at that. That's a basketball in a
bracket. It's a formula in a bracket.
It's a beaker. It's a beaker. That's what I'm looking for. It's a beaker.
But then there's the bracket on the other side.
Okay, I like the beaker.
It's very creative by Michelle.
Well done, Michelle. All right, last 35 champs had more assists than turnovers. That's straightforward. 32 of the last 35 had a head coach with Sweet 16 experience. Kevin Ollie, 2014 for UConn, and then 2 of the last 3 years. This is the category that is buckling. Dan Hurley, of course, with UConn in 2023 when they won the first of the back-to-back, and then Todd Golden with Florida last year. 29 of the last 30 went into the tournament with at least 3 wins versus teams in the top 10% of RPI. That's how long we've been doing this. RPI. 29 of the last 30. UConn, 2014, the exception. Last 30 champs had a top 75 strength of schedule. Yeah, that checks out. 22 of the last 23 champs were in the top 20 in adjusted offensive efficiency at KenPom. Only UConn in 2014. They were such a formula buster, that team. The Shabazz Napier-led UConn champions in 2014. And then 22 of the last 23 champs were in the top 20 in adjusted defensive efficiency. 2021 Baylor Bears, the only exception there. They finished 22nd, I believe it was. Okay, which brings us to this year. On the outside looking in, now the headline for me in 3.0, version 3.0 here is, we have some clear things happening. The outside looking in category has drifted a bit. None of these teams are as close to being qualified this week as they were last week. So Texas Tech, despite their win over Iowa State, Illinois, Gonzaga, Purdue, Texas Tech is the closest after that win over Iowa State on Saturday of this bunch. But they're not like super duper close. But Texas Tech is the closest of the teams that are on the outside looking in. Texas Tech, Illinois, Gonzaga, and Purdue, kind of in that order. The currently qualified teams, there are 7 of them. This will not surprise anybody. And I think there's 2 weak links here, right? But the 7 qualified are Michigan, Duke, Arizona, Florida, Houston, Iowa State, and as predicted, UConn enters. Now, of those 7, the 2 that kind of don't meet the smell test, I think folks would agree, is Houston and Iowa State. Iowa State, who we just talked about, got crushed on Saturday at home by Texas Tech. Iowa State now at Arizona tonight. Oh, boy. So we'll see how that goes. Arizona's about a touchdown, 7.5-point favorite in that game. but currently qualified, Kelly, Michigan, Duke, Arizona, Florida, Houston, Iowa State, and UConn. And those 7 are really they've kind of separated from the group. Now, some within the 7 have fallen back within the 7, like an Iowa State. But those 7 are definitely the qualifiers. And I think most would agree, yeah, even if it's not Houston and Iowa State, that it's Michigan, Duke, Arizona, Florida, and UConn. Like, that's the group. It's going to be so interesting when the tournament happens because we've already said there's a bunch of really good teams, if not great.
Yeah.
So how many upsets are there going to be? That's what's going to make, like, Survivor and your upset rewarded brackets so interesting this year, because I think the upsets will be scarce. But if you can hit the 1 or 2 or 3 that happen,
huge,
you're just going to be ahead of the field from the early going. Joe Peta, season wins. Next.
Time. There's nothing more valuable. It's what drives everyone to make the most of every moment. We celebrate living large in the now. In a city where time disappears, we create experiences that electrify the soul and memories that will last forever. We go big. We go all night. And here, everyone is invited. So get loose and get loud.
This is Circa. You'll have the time of your life.
Laptop or phone, couch or sportsbook, VSiN goes where you go. Wherever you watch VSiN, the experience stays seamless. Live shows, replays, and sports-specific clips all at your fingertips. VSiN Watch puts you in the driver's seat. Available in Roku, Samsung, Amazon, iOS, Android, app stores, or get it direct from the source at VSiN.com. Download VSiN Watch today on your favorite app store and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
College hoop season heating up. Best betting stretch of the year right around the corner. Right now, VSiN is offering our Hoops Mania special. Mania. Get VSiN Pro access from now through May 1st for just $29.99. With VSiN Pro, you'll get daily best bets from VSiN hosted guests, real-time DraftKings and Circa betting splits, AI-powered prop tools and matchup analysis, 24/7 video and full show replays on the VSiN Watch app, plus our March Mania betting guide, including team profiles for every tournament team, key trends for each round, expert bracket and future strategies, and best bets from VSiN's top analysts. If you're betting the tournament, this is a must. Sign up today at VSiN.com/subscribe. That's VSIN.com/subscribe. Normally I would read more tweets here, but Kelly, there is no time to lose. No. We got baseball business to get to. Joe Peta joins his the third part, of his three-part special that he's done here. Been kind enough to join us twice last week, third time today, multiple cities, San Francisco and Philly again today. We have nothing but the business end of the three-part series today, a bunch of season wins, and then we'll actually get to a line for opening day. Joe Peta joins us courtesy of Progressive Guest Line. You can follow him on Twitter at MagicRatSF. Joe, good morning. Has there ever been in our lifetime an earlier start? I'm not talking about like 2 random Japan games, but like full slate opening day as there is this year. Was it the 25th?
Yeah, it's 3 weeks from Wednesday night.
Yes.
So yeah, it's we do get right in. It's always weird too. One game on Wednesday and then like 10 on Thursday, and then Friday you have some opening games and you have other teams playing their second game, which I never really understand.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's get right into it. Let's talk. The first time you were here, you talked about building blocks to how you do season wins. Second time you gave a case study on the New York Metropolitans, which you, I believe, were over on the Mets. Yes, over on the Mets.
Right.
These are going to be, we're going to get through 10. Let's start with the American League. And I know we don't like to say one is necessarily your favorite, but this first one might be, right? The Red Sox.
It's certainly my favorite under and probably my favorite overall. It just happens to go this way because we're doing this by divisions. In the AL East, I like the Red Sox under 87.5 wins. The number I'm citing that I sent to Kelly this weekend is either the best market available at either FanDuel or Circa, but of course shop around because maybe you can get better. But Boston under 87.5. Look, they are replacing more than any other team. They are replacing the highest rate of success of plate appearances they have to replace. Not a big volume. It's just about 1,150 plate appearances. But those players had runs created 30% above normal. That's like trying to replace from last year 1.5 to 2 Bobby Witt Juniors. That's a lot to replace, and they're banking on really in the lineup. They're banking on Wilson Contreras. And then in the rotation, they've added Sonny Gray and Ranger Suarez. As a Phillies fan, love Ranger, wish him well, but that is banking on 3 guys that are over 30, 33 for Contreras, 30 for Ranger, and 36 for Sonny Gray. They have to be very good to get the Red Sox to 89 wins with an above-average schedule. That's an easy under for me.
What's your Aroldis Chapman line about the Red Sox this year?
Yeah, he is so old. Gil, I don't remember what I told you, but he cannot have another career year in his late 30s like he did as well last year.
It was an extreme comment that it was not going to go well for him this year. That's right. Okay, the other one in the AL East, they are lined to have the fewest wins in the division. I always find this franchise to be a bit of a conundrum every offseason. You're over on the Rays.
Yeah, over 76.5 wins. Look, if Shane McClanahan makes 20-plus starts, as all the projection systems are showing, and if he's, the same Shane McClanahan as before, they're projected to outscore their opponents for my. So just over 81 wins. The lineup doesn't look that impressive, but it's, as always with Tampa, it's platoon heavy. So it's actually stronger than it looks from a composite basis because, of course, they're probably better than any other team at putting people in the position to succeed. There's a lot of cushion if they do get outscored at 76.5. I just think I have it as a solid overplay.
Okay, to the American League Central. These are a couple that I think we've heard. I know one of them myself produced it, but these are a couple in the AL Central that have been pretty popular. The first is you're over on the White Sox too.
It is my very favorite over, Gil, and I didn't expect that, but boy, do I like this. I like this offense. Given the expectations, I had them as a 66-win team last year, and they are now replacing 1,500 plate appearances that were a good 25% below normal. And they're replacing those with 4 guys who all project pretty well. And there's actually one of them, which is Murakami, a real potential breakout, which the White Sox don't necessarily have in their lineup, that they could have a 4-win player there. This just looks to me like an easy over. The bullpen's a bit above average, and so is the defense. Now, the rotation is terrible. It's probably projecting to be second worst, and I see that. But this is a 67.5 win projection. A little help from the defense, a little help from the bullpen. Perhaps that can mitigate the rotation. And I'd like to see them win some 6-5 games. Over 67.5, that's my favorite over on the board.
Over on the White Sox. By the way, real quick, back to Chapman. Your line was he will give up more runs by Memorial Day than he did all of last year. That was your Chapman line.
That's right.
That's right.
Yep.
Okay, and the other one in the AL Central, you and I are simpatico again on this one for a second straight year. Under on the Guardians.
Yeah, now I missed the best number, and I'll get to that when we get to one of the National League teams. I'll expand on that a little. But under 78.5, you're right. We've talked about this. You've talked about this. They're extreme luck from both a Pythag basis, from a sequencing basis. It's been talked about on your show for a year. They were essentially a true under 500 team last year from true talent, and then they did nothing. They've stood pat. So they only have to replace 750 plate appearances, and I do like that they picked up Rhys Hoskins within the last week. It is a help, but I still see so much regression coming that, it's every unit is below average except the defense. So we'll ride this one again this year and, hat tip them again if they somehow outscore their opponents.
To the American League West, a couple overs, and neither of which are my over on the Rangers. You're over on which two clubs?
Yeah, starting with the Athletics. Gil, I really like this. Again, sort of like Tampa, we get a lot of cushion for a team that I think is going to mildly outscore their opponents at 75.5 wins. That, like I said, it's a lot of cushion. This is a great offense. I don't think anybody disputes that. The problem is, of course, the rotation in the bullpen. But, and I think we have to go back to 2014 to say this for the Athletics. Help could be coming at midseason, not just from the minor leagues, but I think the front office telegraphed their intentions when they got involved in the Nolan Arenado bidding this offseason. And in fact, they offered St. Louis more than Arizona did in terms of picking up his contract. I think if you see the A's outscoring opponents by May or losing some 8-7 games, you'll see them go after some relievers, just like they went after John Lester, as you may remember, as a rental in 2014 when they knew they had a pennant-winning possibility. Boy, Mason Miller would look good on this team right now, but we'll see what they do.
He sure would. And the other overs on the division champ Mariners.
Yeah, Seattle over 90.5. Gil, I look at this, excluding the Dodgers. I think this is the easiest glide path to a division title that is out there. It's a top 10. All their units are top 10. The only weakness I see, it's not a very good platoon lineup. So I think there's a weakness against left-handed pitching, but other than that, I see a glide path to the division title.
All right, let's try to squeeze in the NL East here while we're at it. You have a couple clubs in the NL East, starting with your Phillies at 89.5. Which way you going?
Yeah, it's under 89.5. Yes, this was a true talent 96-win team last year, but everything went right. And, there's virtually no room for improvement. Schwarber had a career year. Trey Turner probably played back to his ceiling. And Ranger Suarez is now gone. And who knows with Wheeler? He's supposed to be back by May, which is about how much he pitched last year. But can he reach that level last year? Because remember, he was neck and neck with Paul Skeens in terms of a Cy Young candidate last year. There's just, and this team is old. Their only path to 90 wins is if this bullpen is so lights out, they have 4 guys with a sub-3 ERA. It's possible, but I don't want to bet it that way. I'm taking the under 89.5.
And then the Nationals at 65.5 or 65, shop around. Not low enough, you're saying? Under?
Not, Gil, I don't see how this team doesn't lose 100 games. They certainly signaled their intention for the roster when they got rid of Mackenzie Gore. I think if anybody has a good first half, they will shed those players as well. Like I say, look, when Miles Mikolas is your opening day scheduled to be your opening day starting pitcher, that is a bad, bad team. And like I say, I don't see how they don't lose 100 games, especially in that division, playing 45 games against the Braves, Mets, and Phillies.
Okay, we'll recap. Joe's given 8 so far, 2 in the AL East, Central, West, and NL East. We'll recap those on the other side. He's got 1 more in the NL Central, 1 more in the NL West, and then we'll talk about opening night between the Giants and Yankees. Then Kelly and I will throw some teams at him for some speed round season wins as well. His thoughts on those teams. Joe Peta from Philly today on a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Coming back.
VSiN's player prop projection tool is now available for the NBA. Get projections for points, assists, rebounds, and more powered by Opta AI. On VSiN.com/NBA props, we line up our projections against the latest DraftKings odds so you can quickly spot mismatches and find value before the market adjusts. The NBA player prop projections tool is available exclusively to VSiN Pro subscribers. Check it out now at VSiN.com/NBA props and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
Prop Points takes you to the intersection of prop betting and fantasy sports with hosts Jeff Erickson and Nick Whalen of RotoWire.
He's the one that's the trendiest. He's the one that's going the earliest of the 3, and in some leagues I've seen him go as early as the 2nd round.
The one thing that stood out to me here is, value-wise, I would take a look at Dorian Finney-Smith over 2.5 boards.
They'll help you find the connection between the two and give you expert advice on how to capitalize when a number is too good to pass up. Prop Points every weekday at 1 p.m. Eastern, only on VSiN.
A numbers game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Back on a numbers game. Gil Alexander, Kelly Bidlin, Joe Peta, kind enough to join us for a second segment as we continue the rapid fire season wins from Joe and more coming up as well. We were just talking off air. Lance Lynn, part of our MLB Futures Draft tomorrow, and Joe just reminded us off air that Joe and I actually we bet on Lance Lynn opening night 2013. What was the price on Lance Lynn? I remember this well.
About 155 to plus 160.
Yeah, and we gave Kelly 10 guesses off air what sportsbook we watched at. He went 0 for 10. Legacy Stadium.
I would have gone 0 for 25.
Yeah.
I also like that Joe's like you, where Gil's done this to me probably 732 times in our career working together, where he's like, I think this is what happened. Kelly, check on this for me. And 99.999% of the time, he's right. Joe's like, I think we were at this sportsbook. I think the price range was like plus 150 to plus 160. If you remember the money line, I think you remember the game.
That was when baseball would start with the Sunday night opener, right? And we do that. So March 25th is the opener this year. And then March 26th, there's a bunch of games. So we'll get to that opener between the Giants and the Yankees coming up. But first, let me just recap. Joe's 8 season wins that he's just given. In the AL East, Boston under 87.5. It's his favorite under. Always shop around. These are the Circa and FanDuel numbers that we gave at 87.5 on the Sox. Tampa Bay over 76.5 in the AL East. AL Central, White Sox over 67.5, his favorite over of the bunch. The Guardians under 78.5. AL West, Athletics over 75.5. Mariners over 90.5. And then NL East, Philly under 89.5 and Washington under 65. Miles Michaelis is your opening day starter. All right, you have one in the NL Central. Who dat?
Yeah, Gil, and when I mentioned this, I'll go back to the Guardians. When FanDuel put these markets out in January, it was during the NFL playoffs. I quickly started my work because I was like, I want to jump on these if I think they're going to move. I jumped on the Guardians under 80.5. I was sure it would go down. Sure enough, it's down 2. I jumped on the Athletics over 75.5, certain that was going to go up. It hasn't. In doing that, I passed on the over Pittsburgh 74.5 wins because I didn't think they'd be popular. I didn't think anyone else would see what I thought was hidden value. So wrong about that. And here I am now, 4 wins higher. You know, I'll get a ticket in at the Pirates over 78.5. They were a competent 71 win team last year, especially by the end of the season. Where their improvement is coming from is they are replacing 2,400 plate appearances, of performance that was 20 to 25% below league average. That's replacement level. If you replace those 4 players with just somebody competent, you should pick up 6, 7, 8 wins. And I like Ozuna coming over from Atlanta. I think he's more than just I might be high man on him, but I think you could get 2 wins out of him, which might be a 3 to 4 win pickup on who he's replacing. I'd like to see O'Neal Cruz play a little better, but just in over, I think 78.5, it's getting closer to a lean. 74.5 was a real no-brainer. I see this as roughly a 500 team, comparable to Tampa Bay and the Athletics. But I think they have a better chance of sneaking into the 3rd wild card spot than those other 2 teams.
I like the Ozuna pickup as well. Though that's one of those bets. Again, I always remember when I bet an over on the Rockies one year, and Roxy says to me, he goes, I'd like to talk to you in July, see how you feel about that bet. So we'll see with the Pirates in July what the story is. All right, to the NL West. It's our hometown Giants, Joe. Which way are you going?
Yeah, I'm under 81.5, Gil. I had them as a true talent 79-win team last year. They really have pretty much stood pat. They got 2 new lineup additions, Harrison Bader and Luis Arez. Meh, in terms of I don't really see improvement there. I've got them as a mildly below average rotation, mildly below average bullpen. So, it's kind of the inverse of some of these other calls. I got them being outscored. So it makes it at 81.5, makes it a pretty easy under for me.
Pirates over 78.5 wins, Giants under 81.5 wins, closing out Joe's 10 season wins, a third of Major League Baseball here on the show today. Okay, let's go to opening night. Speaking of the Giants, at Oracle Park. The Yankees at the Giants, Wednesday, March 25th, begins the Major League Baseball season. You have a play on this game.
Well, I have a line. I'll tell you how I was going to line it. I thought this would be a nice little surprise. Like, hey, after doing all these, now looking at opening day pictures, assuming it's going to be, neither team has announced it, but assuming it's going to be Max Fried versus Webb, I've got the fair market at, I line it at New York Yankees minus 133. But Gil, here's the nice surprise.
Yes.
Our friends at Profit have listed all, and of course, look, Profit, we know the sweepstakes iceberg is melting, not available to near as many listeners as it was before, but they're also on the route to the CFTC approval. Just like I think if you look at the site, the line, the way the queue goes, you've got Profit, you've got Novig, and then you've got Sport Trade, all, friends of the better, right? Mm-hmm. And I certainly am hopeful that all three of these sites will do a better job with sports than, say, what's offered right now in the prediction market, CFTC world. But so we can go to Profit right now, and you can see the opening lines for all 15 games. I see the Giants are the Yankees are minus 128, Giants plus 116. I don't know if that's indicative of how it will open up wide. Like I say, I've got the fair value at Yankees minus 133, and I will certainly be looking at some of those other opening day lines as well.
So you see an incremental amount of value on the Yankees is what you're saying. Not enough to make a bet.
That's right, and it will be interesting to see how these lines move as other books. Like I say, I think this is first in the market to post anything.
It's a beautiful thing. All right. They're all up at Profit. Love that. And once again, we'll throw all these up at the end of the show. Again, all of Joe's season wins. It'll be on the website, VSiN.com/picks for subscribers as well. So we will recap these again if you missed them at the end of the show. All right. Let's do a little speed round. Just get your thoughts. They weren't included in the top 10 season win totals plays. You want to start, Kelly? You want me to start? You want honors?
I've got like 7 teams written down.
All right, do one.
Padres.
Padres. Let's see. I've got them as I lean over 83.5. Kelly. They were a true talent 89 win team last year. So the market's adjusted a lot. Like I say, I lean over 83.5 for them.
Start the season 2 games back of the Dodgers.
That's it. All right. Well, let's start with the Dodgers. 102.5. Where do you stand on them? Over, under?
Sigh. Gil, they are so good.
I know.
Last year when they opened at 103 or 104.5, I thought it was a snap under. You didn't even have to think about it. Gil, they are so good this year. They've improved. I mean, they've improved a lot. They got rid of the only dead weight they had in Michael Conforto and added Tucker. Gil, I actually lean over, even though, as Joe Sheehan says, I don't think they care if they win 100 games. They only really care about the 15 they play in October. But this team is Gil, this lineup is ridiculous. And they've got I have them as a 114-win roster on opening day, and it's going to be the same for the second, third, and fourth starters as well. That's like having Tarek Skubal essentially pitch 162 games with no degradation. It's ridiculous how good they are. I actually lean over.
Oy vey, is all I have to say.
I told you all year the Tigers needed to do that with Skubal. Okay, let's go, Joe. Let's go with the Baltimore Orioles.
Baltimore. Well, look, I think it's a popular over. Yep. I lean over 85.5, really due to the potential of that lineup if they can just stop with the injury bug. But it's a big adjustment up from where they were last year. I couldn't make it a play. Yeah, I would love to see it around 82 wins. 85.5 I thought was a little excessive, but I do lean over.
Texas Rangers, selfishly, 83.5.
Yeah, love the rotation, Gil. Do not like the lineup, so it's a pass for me. I certainly see the upside. I like a Mackenzie Gore future, I think, which you already have in your pocket. It's really, can this lineup bounce back? They've made some changes. Doesn't excite me that much looking at, sort of their market.
We'd go further, but Joe has a heart out. He's got to do stuff. He's there in Philly with his mom. Joe, thank you so much. not for only for today, but also for all three. We appreciate it, man. Hope to talk often during the season.
Thanks, guys. Can't wait for in a few weeks.
That's right. 23 days away. Joe Peta, everybody. At Magic Rat SF on Twitter, coming to us from San Francisco, part 1, and then from Philly, parts 2 and 3.
Miami Marlins, 72.5.
I was going to. My next one was the Rockies.
I was
going to go Royals because everybody loves the Royals.
We were. I was going to go Rockies, but I was like, we've done 3 NL West teams, and let me get out of here.
Well, that's pretty awesome.
The Rockies are maybe the Rockies situation is beyond fascinating to me. What are we at? 54.5 for the win total?